Have you ever stumbled upon something online that just felt wrong? Something that sent a shiver down your spine even before you knew why? This is the story of Alex, an IT technician, and a file that should have been left buried in the digital graveyard. It was a Tuesday, one of those mind-numbingly slow days where the loudest sound in the office is the hum of the servers. Alex was doing a routine data migration, sifting through ancient company servers that hadn't been touched in years. He was about to sign off when he saw it. A single, isolated file in a forgotten directory, 666 MP4. The file name alone was a red flag, a juvenile prank maybe. But the thumbnail was what truly unsettled him. It wasn't a preview image, it was just static. A churning, grayscale snow, like an old TV with no signal. Against his better judgment, curiosity won. He was an IT guy after all. What harm could a video file do? He downloaded it to his local drive. The progress bar inching its way to completion. The file size was strangely small, just a few megabytes. He double-clicked. VLC player popped open, and the static from the thumbnail filled the screen. For a few seconds, that was all there was. Just the static and a faint, high-pitched hum. Alex was about to close it, dismissing it as a corrupted file, when the static cleared, his breath caught in his throat. On his screen was his office, his desk, his chair. Every detail was perfect, from the half-empty coffee mug to the slightly crooked picture frame on the wall. It was a live feed, he thought, but from where? There were no cameras in the main office space, not like this. He glanced around. Everything was exactly as it was in the video. Except for one thing, the timestamp in the corner of the video. It showed the next day's date, Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. He was watching the future. A cold dread began to creep up his spine. The video was a single static shot, about a minute long, and it was looping. It showed an empty office. His empty office tomorrow. The lights would flicker once, twice, and then the video would end, cutting back to that unnerving static before starting over. Just an empty room and flickering lights. He tried to rationalize it. It had to be a clever fake. A prank from a coworker with way too much time on their hands and some serious video editing skills. But how could they have replicated his desk so perfectly, down to the crumpled sticky note he'd just tossed aside? It was impossible. He spent the rest of the day feeling watched, glancing over his shoulder, expecting someone to jump out and yell, "Gotcha!" But nothing happened. The office emptied out, and soon he was alone. The server room's hum, his only companion. He couldn't shake the feeling. He worked late, the video file minimized on his desktop, a digital ghost haunting his screen. He checked the server logs, trying to trace the file's origin. It was uploaded years ago, from an IP address that no longer existed. It was a digital dead end. As he was about to pack up, a thought struck him. He opened the video file again. His office. Tomorrow. 2:30 p.m. He watched the loop. The lights flickered once, twice, then static. He looked up at the actual lights in his office. They were steady. He looked back at the screen. The loop started again. The empty chair, the coffee mug, the flickering lights. He stayed long after everyone else, the unease growing into a knot of pure paranoia in his stomach. He must have watched the loop 100 times. At some point, he must have dozed off, because he was jolted awake by the sudden darkness. The power had flickered. He sat bolt upright, his heart hammering against his ribs. It flickered again, just like in the video. His eyes darted to his monitor. The video was no longer looping. It was playing something new. The timestamp now read, Wednesday, 2:38 p.m. It was still a view of his desk, but now the lights were on. Then he saw it. Movement. The chair in the video. His chair was being pushed back. A figure, silhouetted and indistinct, stood up. It was him. He was watching himself tomorrow. The video Alex walked slowly, deliberately, towards the office door. He wasn't rushing. There was a strange, almost dreamlike quality to his movements. He reached the door, placed his hand on the handle, and then the video froze. The image on the screen degraded pixel by pixel until it was nothing but that familiar churning static. Then his computer screen went black. Alex didn't sleep that night. He went home, but the image of himself walking to that door was burned into his mind. Where was he going? Why did the video cut out? The next day, Wednesday, felt surreal. Every tick of the clock was a countdown. He tried to act normal, fixing network issues, fielding calls, but his focus was shot. He kept glancing at the clock on his screen. 1 hour p.m. 2:01 p.m. The minutes crawled by. He thought about leaving, just grabbing his keys and running. But where would he go? How do you run from a prophecy delivered by an MP4 file? Some morbid, inescapable force kept him glued to his chair. 2:30 p.m. He held his breath. He looked up at the office lights. Nothing. He let out a shaky sigh of relief. Maybe it was all a stress-induced hallucination. A digital nightmare. 2:38 p.m. His desk phone rang. It was an automated alert from the main server room. A power fluctuation. He stood up. His own body felt like it was moving on autopilot. He pushed his chair back. He looked at his hands, then at the office door. It was happening, just like in the video. He walked towards the door. Each step felt heavy, preordained. He wasn't in control anymore. He was just an actor playing a part he'd already watched. He reached the door, his hand hovering over the cold metal handle. He could feel the eyes of his co-workers on him, wondering where he was going. He looked back at his desk, at his dark monitor, and a single chilling thought echoed in his mind. The video didn't show him coming back. He turned the handle. Alex was never seen again. His co-workers reported him leaving his desk at approximately 2:41 p.m. on Wednesday. He just walked out the door and vanished. When the police investigated, they found his computer was completely wiped. There was no trace of a file named 666 MP4. It was as if it never existed. The only thing they found was a single corrupted video file in the recycle bin. When the forensics team tried to recover it, all they could see was a single frame, captured just before it was deleted. A close-up of an empty office chair, and in the corner of the screen, a timestamp. It showed the current date, and the time was 2:41 p.m. Some things are better left unopened, undeleted, and unknown. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these kinds of stories that blur the line between our world and the digital one, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there, and maybe think twice before you open a strange file. See you next time.